Hello ladies and gents, I'm DKD6.
I'm Nexus of Ice, and welcome to episode 8 of DeeKay Nexus Discussions.
And in this episode we're talking about Windows, Xbox, bots and more bots. To be honest, we're talking about the Microsoft 2016 Build Developers Conference, and as much as we can fit into this episode because there's just too much. Anyways, let's roll that intro. Okay, so recently Microsoft had their 2016 Build Developer Conference, which they host every year, and this one was quite special because they talked about so much stuff. I mean, the conference itself was over 2 hours long, and I've kind of gone through it and taken notes on whatever I could, and it's blown my face off. Nexus, I know you haven't watched it, but...
No, I'm just here for commentary and just catch up. You can give me the facts and I'll state any opinions or ideas that I got about it.
Okay, so just a quick thing. My notes are a freaking mess this time. Normally we have a nice order to go through, but with this episode...
No.
Yes,
it never goes through.
Yeah, okay.
You know
It does.
Point
Normally,
proven.
we talk about one thing and then we go on to the next topic and then the next topic after that, and it all kind of flows like that. With this one, it's no holds barred. Whatever comes up, we're talking about, and if we have to go backwards and forwards between topics, we're going to do that because there's no other way to do it. So, first up, I think that we should talk about the Xbox Dev Mode, which is now live for Xbox Preview members, and it will be live for everyone else in the near future. But this thing looks freaking awesome.
Yeah, they've been promising that for literally years, like since it launched.
Yeah, there's a reason. Yeah, there's a reason why they couldn't launch it back when they said. Phil Spencer actually talked about why they couldn't launch it. It's because the Xbox platform was like, it wasn't an open platform when they first announced it, but now because it's part of Windows 10 and the Universal Windows platform, it's open to everyone and anyone, anywhere can develop for it, and that's why they're able to open it up now rather than a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay. So basically because they, integrated it with the Windows 10 system.
Yeah.
Windows 10 is pretty much the same development tools anyway, so after that they said, okay, it's open now.
Yeah, so they gave a demo on stage with this Xbox Dev Mode. They had some chick on stage saying, "This is how you do it," and then she did it. And with the with the preview members right now, you can actually do that to your Xbox and turn it into a dev kit. But while it's in preview, you only have access to 500 megs of RAM. But in the actual full release, which is coming in a couple of months, I think, you'll have access to a full gigabyte of system memory. But they do say if you're not used to developing for the Xbox platform or developing in general, they recommend you hold off until the full release because this preview member release might have a few bugs here and there, and they still need to iron those out. So yeah, proceed with caution right now.
Pretty much this is just for a lot of serious developers only that know how to handle the system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's really cool how it works. I mean, you have your development console on your PC, you have your Xbox as like an external
debug
environment.
Kit.
Yeah.
Essentially, it makes everything a debug kit now.
Yeah, so you have your Visual Basic or whatever they're using on your PC, and then you can run the titles that you make or the software or applications that you make on your PC. You can run them remotely onto your Xbox and test them. So it's really cool the way that worked, and it looked really interesting. And if this takes off, it's kind of like a Forge for a Halo game, but this can be used to make anything on the platform.
Oh.
So yeah,
Awesome.
I think that looked really good. And yeah, I thought we'd say a lot more about this. Oh, actually, there are a couple of caveats of this right now. I don't know if this is going to change, but as it stands right now, if you turn your Xbox One into a development kit, if you want to revert back to it not being a development kit, it will format your Xbox hard drive. So you'll lose all your games and you'll have to download everything again, which
Well, it's
would
not
be a
a huge
bitch.
deal, really. I mean, it's not as big as a deal as it used to be. Everything's all cloud saved and everything anyway, so not a biggie. It's just a waste a little bit of a day or two of downloading unless you have horrible internet.
Yeah, I mean, considering each game is between 30 and 60 gigabytes, that's a lot of
Yep.
downloading. If you
I
have
think I could probably do that in about a day.
for all of your games.
Yeah, I can fill them up if I just set up to do queue and walk away in about a day.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, now we've already touched on this in the topic we just talked about. So I think we should tackle this beast, and I honestly I don't know everything about it, but I will try. The Universal Windows Platform. We already know about this from previous conversations that we've had in these DeeKay Nexus discussions, but they talked about it a lot more in this developer conference. So it's UWP, Universal Windows Platform, and this basically allows developers to distribute on any store. So they develop for the Windows platform. They can distribute on any Windows store, including the Xbox store. And more on the Xbox and Windows store later, anyways. And they can distribute onto any platform. I hope that made sense. Did that make sense to you?
Yeah, so basically it means that they can hop on one store, and because if you let's say your Microsoft account buys a product, a digital product on a let's say the Windows 10 store, right? You will still have access to that stuff and functionality on, say, the Xbox One, or I guess in a is Windows Phone is still a thing, so I mean that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but now what they're doing is that they're unifying the Xbox store and the Windows store into one
Yeah,
big store.
yeah. So it's you have it access to pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, so if there's a game that's on Windows 10 and a game that's on the Xbox, if we've already seen this with things like Quantum Break, where if you pre-order Quantum Break right now, well, it's too late now, but
Which
if you,
can be good or bad
yeah, so you get
because
it as, yeah, go on.
yeah, that's really nice that you get like the dual platform, but at the same time, um, you know how mobile store libraries and everything have a lot of crap on them. I hope it doesn't. I hope the user interface is good enough to where it doesn't like swarm. Like let's say they open that up to say Xbox One. You know how much like mobile trash that would probably flood the marketplace with.
Yeah.
So let's see how that works. I
Yeah,
mean, that would
well,
be really nice if they do it in a very clean way. But we'll see. That's just one of my thoughts.
people like trash, though. If they didn't, there wouldn't be so much of it. Okay, what else is there to say about the UWP? Oh God, I can't even read my notes because I was writing in shorthand, and I don't know shorthand, so it was made up at the time, which was about an hour ago, and I don't understand what the hell I wrote. So, moving on. Um, yeah, they're unifying the Xbox store with the Windows store. You can cross-buy titles, so you pay once, get it on both platforms. Um, it's an open platform for all developers. So if you develop an application for Windows, the application can also be distributed to Xbox One and any other Windows 10 device. So tablets, laptops, PCs, Xbox. It's a great sort of scenario for a developer to be in, and it does seem to be the easiest way to get your application onto millions of devices right from the start. So I think it's a good thing for developers, and of course, if it's good for developers, in turn, it's good for us, the consumers. So I think, yeah, good job with that.
Yeah, I think that the cross-buy function between console and PC
Yeah,
is going to be that's probably the one thing that Steam can't offer.
yeah.
Because you know how, you have Origin, you have Uplay, and obviously Steam. Those are all pretty much the same general concept and the same buying manner. But this way, when you actually have those sort of environments where it doubles up, especially if, let's say, EA actually gets on board on that, and 'cause they're a big one, that and Ubisoft, and if they actually start putting their products on the Windows Store and it starts to be actually, working out that way, because it will have like cross compatibility with their own services. they may actually want to start doing that. So either way, even with just Microsoft titles, that's a big plus side because you can actually buy one and, saying, okay, hey, I also got it on PC. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you've already got EA access on Windows 10 now, so
Yep.
I don't see why they wouldn't do something like that. It would make sense for them to do it, especially with the support they've had from the Xbox division.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that may happen.
That would
Uh,
be great to have like Mass Effect 4 on console and PC and only have to buy it once.
yeah, that would be fucking awesome. That brings us nicely into our next sort of subtopic, which is improvements to gaming on Windows 10. Now, as a lot of you may already know, Rise of the Tomb Raider came out on Windows 10 via the Xbox, not the Xbox Store, the Windows Store, because I don't think you could get it on Steam. Lots of people had a problem with this because you couldn't run the game in full screen, you couldn't disable VSync, and it had some issues with SLI configurations and stuff like that. So Phil Spencer directly commented on all of this stuff, saying that in I think May of this year, they're going to allow you to disable VSync, have full screen gaming. It's going to have G-Sync and FreeSync compatibility. SLI and Crossfire are supported by DirectX 12 already, so I think they'll iron out a few of the issues there. So it looks like the Windows 10 store gaming, oh god, the Windows 10 gaming performance, like buying games off the Windows Store and not Steam, will be a lot more user-friendly and will cause a lot less PC Master Race gamers to commit suicide. So
Here's a quick question. I wonder if that will extend to existing licenses as well.
what do you mean?
Let's say there's a game that's on PC and on Windows 10 and has that cross-buy functionality. If you already own it on digital on let's say Xbox, starting with Xbox One, I mean, that would be great if you just suddenly gained access to a free PC copy.
Oh, I see what you mean. Have they done that already?
I have no idea, but Quantum Break is pretty much the first step in that, isn't it?
Yeah, there was Quantum Break. Tomb Raider was separate. Forza, you got Forza Apex coming out, which is a separate title.
But I mean, if it starts building up steam, that would be a really interesting thought on that. Especially if for those of us who already have or like Games for Gold, would you get if you bought the free copy and it happened to be on PC, would you get a free PC copy with it? Those are little questions that, if the answer is yes, that's a huge incentive.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That'd be really good. I mean, look at Games with Gold right now, for example, the 4 games that we're getting in this month of April. They're awesome games. I mean, we're getting Sunset Overdrive, The Wolf Among Us, Dead Space, and what was the last one? Well, whatever it was.
No, it wasn't Borderlands. Let me see what.
No, that was a month or two ago that we got Borderlands. But yeah, anyways,
that was last month.
4 free games a month on your Xbox One console. So you got the 2 Xbox One titles, 2 Xbox 360 titles, which are guaranteed to work on your Xbox One via backwards compatibility. You can also redeem those free games on your Xbox One now, so you don't need to go to Xbox.com anymore. And everything works. So 4 free games a month. That's
Saints Row.
That's it.
Saints Row 4. Yeah.
Yeah, Saints Row 4. So you got big titles this month. And
and for those of you who haven't played The Wolf Among Us, it is actually a great title. Just like any Telltale game, if you guys have played The Walking Dead, it's in that style, and it's the same developers, and it's a really great story-driven game.
Yeah, have you played Sunset Overdrive yet?
Yeah, I played it when they had it for free that 1 month.
That's when I played it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Really good.
But I definitely didn't want to buy it when it first came out. But this is one I'll definitely play if I get it though.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the hell out of it. So yeah, I mean, just slightly going off on a tangent here. Lots of people complain about paying for Xbox Live Gold. And you pay for it on PlayStation now as well for PlayStation Plus. That's not the point that I'm trying to make, though. The point I'm trying to make is if you pay the full retail amount for Xbox Live, which is what do you guys pay over there? $60?
Yeah, it's about 60.
Yeah, so over here
$60.
it's £40. I pay £20 a year for Xbox Live, because I get a code off eBay or whatever. So for £20 a year, I get access to 48 free games a year.
And what's great about that feature is that regardless if you still are paying for the service, and I'm going to say this in comparison to other paid services like PlayStation Plus even, which is a similar service and a similar effect, or let's say a streaming service, if you stop that service with obviously any streaming service, you don't have access anymore. With PlayStation Plus, you cannot download games again. You get to keep the ones that are local, that are natively on your console or device, but you can't re-download them if you stop paying for PlayStation Plus.
Yeah,
if you start paying again, if you start paying again, then you have access to the stuff that you've already gotten for free, but you have to keep the service if it's fully to fully use it properly. On, off, delete, and move, all that other stuff. With Xbox, the plus side of that is as soon as you've gotten it free, it doesn't matter. You can revert to a silver account and you still have full reign over that digital content. It doesn't matter. They won't stop you from downloading it, deleting it, or whatever.
Yeah, like if you're not interested in online gaming and you don't want to pay for Xbox Live Gold, you could literally use a 48-hour trial code every month and download 4 games a month.
Old ones. I actually have a stack of old ones. The newer ones, they actually say trial now on it, and they say now it doesn't apply to free games. But if you have the ones that the later ones for the Xbox 360, those still apply. I actually have another separate account that I'll activate on the 15th and 16th specifically to access that month's games and just build up an extra separate digital library.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, little things like that. And there are ways around that you can do it, but it's still a nice function that they do for you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
What's the next one, man?
Windows 10 Anniversary Update. It's coming this summer. It also applies to Xbox One. They're unifying the Xbox Store with the Windows Store, like we already talked about. Cortana is coming to the Xbox One. Properly this time, not some. You'd remember that video I made?
Shoehorned app?
Yeah, remember that video I made where you could activate Cortana, but she wasn't really supposed to be there? Cortana's officially coming to the Xbox One. I don't remember that one. Yeah, look at my channel, you'll see it. But this time, it's like Cortana on steroids now, because now this kind of links to something that we're going to talk about in a few minutes, or later on in this DeeKay Nexus discussion, where Cortana can now do things that other AI things can't do. It's hard to explain without actually going into it, but
become a racial insensitive genocidal maniac.
Yeah, so
officially she's now done that in the story.
Well, that was Microsoft Tay. That's completely different. That had nothing to do with Cortana. And they actually, Satya Nadella actually acknowledged that in the conference, where he said, "Yeah, we kind of fucked this up. We had to pull her down, but she became, a Hitler-loving, sex-obsessed beast on the internet." So, yeah. If you want to know more about Microsoft Tay, listen to the last episode. But yeah, Cortana on the Xbox One, she can do really cool things now, where let's say that you're playing, let's say that you're playing Sunset Overdrive. You can literally say, "Cortana, how do I get through this level?" And she will see which game you're playing, what part of the game you're on, and then she'll find clips that other Xbox members have made, and she'll present you with her findings on how to get through the level.
That's cool.
That's freaking awesome. Also coming, we might as well talk about the April update, which is out now.
So she's a babysitter for gaming.
Yes.
So she's literally the one that physically holds your hand to finish a game. Cortana, I can't beat this. Help me.
Yeah, pretty much. She can also play background music as well now. So that's
Okay.
something that I've been waiting for. Like, remember on the Xbox 360, you could launch an audio track and then you can go about your business and
Remember that on the
navigate.
Xbox 360, you could actually load all your music to the system, and on the original
And on
Xbox,
the
you could also
original
do that.
Xbox. Yeah, that was
Yep,
freaking awesome. I loved
that
that
was
feature.
yeah. A lot of people online are saying, "Where's this feature?" A lot of people actually used that feature, who had a lot of big physical media collections like CDs and everything. It was great to just load that, and that was a great way to just use your CD collection.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can't download your CDs onto it anymore. But like all of my music is digital, so I've got my NAS set up and I can access my NAS from my Xbox and play music through that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's fine. It doesn't really matter anymore. Um, they're talking more about the summer anniversary update at E3 this year. E3, by the way, is in June this year.
Ooh.
Um, bloody hell. What else is there to talk about? We've just had the April update for the Xbox One, which
Yep.
is a damn good
The
update.
March, the
March
March
update.
update at the end of March. It was a March update. Yeah, it
Okay,
was like
yeah,
the
fair enough.
28th or something. But yeah, we got into the March update, which I believe extended backwards compatibility titles along with chat functions and all the other stuff.
Yeah, so now you can talk to more people in a single party chat. You can have your party chat coming from your speakers, not just your headset. You can have speakers exclusively, your headset exclusively, or both. So if you stream on Twitch, for example, or if you record gameplay on like an Elgato game capture, then you can also now record your party chat, which you couldn't do before. So that's a nice addition. And if you're streaming on Twitch, you can now also stream your party chat onto Twitch, so people watching your stream can listen to you and your buddies communicate over party chat. So that's really good.
Yep, it is. It's also nice just to, since we're touching base on streaming and backwards compatibility, the Xbox One can also actively stream backwards compatible games, which is always a really nice feature.
Or you mean to Twitch?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
You can,
Castlevania Symphony of the Night, for example, that's streamable
yeah, you can stream everything. All
for
Xbox
TV and
360
other stuff.
games. Yeah, you can even record clips like Xbox Record that, take screenshots. You can do everything you can do on the Xbox One, you can do with the backwards compatibility game.
Yep, so it's pretty cool.
Okay, let's have a quick chat about crossplay. Phil Spencer talked about crossplay, and there was an interview. If I can find the link, I'll link it down below in the video description. Where he talked, they asked him a question about mouse and keyboard versus controllers, and he acknowledged, like, look, if you're playing on a mouse and keyboard, if you're playing on a controller, then the person playing on a mouse and keyboard is going to completely own you, right? There's just no contest there. So he said he doesn't want to force people into those scenarios. So, but he does want to allow mouse and keyboard support across all Windows platforms. So he hasn't explicitly confirmed that mouse and keyboard is coming to the Xbox One.
Didn't we just speak about
Yeah,
this
we
like
did.
4 days ago?
Yeah. So I
And
knew
you specifically told me that will never happen.
I really didn't think it would, but judging by what he said, it looks like it may happen.
Wait. I want to hear it. Say it.
Say what?
Say it.
I'm not saying that you were right until it actually
Okay,
happens.
thanks. All right, good. You said what I more or less wanted you to say anyways, but that's good enough.
Okay, so yeah, mouse and keyboard support and controller support across all platforms, and then I think you can pick who or what you want to play with. So, for example, like, he made a really interesting point. Now, if you're playing a first-person shooter, right, and you're on a controller, you don't want to play against people on a mouse and keyboard. But if you're playing a cooperative game like Destiny, and I'm on a controller and you, Nexus, are on a mouse and keyboard, then playing cooperatively, that's not a problem, and that should
Yeah,
be
that's a
allowed.
personal preference, and it allows everyone to help their team in their own
Exactly.
right.
So he
It's not a
acknowledges that.
competitive-based system. That's
Yeah,
good.
he acknowledges that, and he says that that should be something that you're allowed to do, and that's what no one else allows. So that's a really cool observation by him, and I'm glad that he's running forward with it.
Yep.
Okay, HoloLens. Now, you can't have a Microsoft Build Developer Conference without talking about HoloLens and
And their crazy Conquer.
the crazy Conquer.
Yeah, you haven't heard the Conquer demo. I don't know if it's full game or demo, but they actually looked it up and look it up. It's essentially a re-envisioned version of Conquer in a I guess Conquer on crack. I guess is the best way to explain the visual art style. But yeah, where he interacts and does stuff with it. That's a big deal. A lot of people were crazy over the internet. Oh no, they changed his character design. How dare you?
Oh God, just whatever. Oh, that
What new
reminds me.
features have they come out with HoloLens for the time being?
Well, they talked about, HoloLens has now shipped to developers. It's $3,000 for the HoloLens dev kit. I didn't get to see too much of it, but from what I did see, they had a couple of guys on stage and they were looking at how HoloLens can benefit you in a learning environment. So they had a hologram of the human body, and you could teach students how the human body works with holograms. So you all stand around it, and then they had like a hologram of the brain, and it looked really, really, really good. And it was really impressive.
Integrate a cat in a medical scenario. Integrate a CAT scan data with HoloLens would be
Oh
awesome.
wow,
Think
dude, that
about
would be
that.
amazing.
But yeah, I know they did that with the Kinect. Like the medical field kind of picked that up and went with it. I wonder if the HoloLens will kind of find its way into that functionality as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Kinect was huge for the medical world. Yeah, HoloLens is obviously going to be a lot bigger because look at the uses for the damn thing, not just in gaming and communication. I mean, just in from a medical
Well, augmented
standpoint.
reality as a whole. I mean, how to display information to, obviously doctors and personnel and stuff like that. That's a great way.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Patients as well, you know?
Yeah, it just looks so impressive, and every time I see anything to do with HoloLens, it completely blows my mind. I mean, that technology is amazing. Speaking of amazing technology, they also showed off a blind developer that they've got. And this guy has made a pair of glasses that he wears, and the glasses can obviously see, and they describe what they're seeing to him. So he's
Huh.
blind, and he wears these glasses, and the glasses tell him what they're looking at.
Oh, that's cool. So it's an audible prosthetic, basically.
Kind of, yeah. It's just really
Interesting.
cool technology. And Satya Nadella really did, he did say this a few times about how technology should be used to benefit us and to make our lives better.
Nope. I'm still waiting for that ability once they get the. I know that they've come out with like visual implants and stuff like that to where like lights and no lights. It's very simplistic right now. But I think once we're able to have an implant in the brain and then send the proper signals to a camera system to where you can actually, visually make out most of the world, I think that will be a crowning achievement right there.
Yeah. Well,
That's a great step.
yeah. Um, there was another thing that I wanted to talk about. God knows what it was. So I'll move on to the next topic. Now there's this guy who came out on stage. His name is Brian Roper. This guy, he dresses like a white, a, he dresses like, alright, we all know who Biggie is, right? Like Tupac and Biggie. He's like
A guy that got shot as well.
yeah, he's like a white Biggie. Okay, so
So he was a huge white Biggie Smalls.
yeah, like this guy looked like a rapper. He even
Okay,
spoke as fast as a
moving
rapper.
on.
Now he came out on stage and he was demonstrating Microsoft, no, not Microsoft Ink, Windows Ink. Now, this on the surface of it, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but when he demoed it, I was like, wow, that is awesome. So now we've all seen how you can use the Apple Pencil with an iPad Pro. and it works really well, and it flows, and you can get all these on-screen tools, and you can get an on-screen ruler, and you can draw lines, and you can do all this stuff, right? And it's awesome. I mean, one of my friends has an iPad Pro with an Apple Pencil, and I've used it, and the damn thing it's amazing.
Have you used the Surface Pro pen before?
I haven't, no.
Oh, it's amazing. You don't even need to touch the screen for it to activate on it.
Yeah, so this is the same thing, it's the Surface Pro pen, but with Windows Ink, what they're doing is they're unifying pen and paper with the power of the PC. And they're doing it in really interesting ways, and ways in which that would truly benefit someone, like not in a gimmick way where they'd use it once or twice. This is in ways that people would use it and keep on using it in a way that would be beneficial to them in their day-to-day activities, right? So, you can write down notes, right? So, like, for example, one of the things that they showed was call mum tomorrow. So he wrote that on a note, call mum tomorrow. Windows recognized the word tomorrow, and then you tap the word tomorrow, and it creates a calendar event for call mum tomorrow. Right, sounds pretty simple. Okay, so then you had he was drawing a pie chart, right? So he was drawing a pie chart using an on-screen ruler to draw the pie chart, and then it would save it as an image so you can tweet it or share it. Adobe is also in on this. So with Adobe, they had something called a French curve, and you can use it to aid you in drawing your designs, but it's not in a way where it gets in the way of your drawing, but it helps you draw without being obtrusive. Really, really cool technology that just made sense. And when you look at it and look at how they're using it, you wonder why the hell no one's ever done it before in this way. Like another thing that they showed was maps, right? So you got a map, you're looking at a map, you know where you are, you know where you want to go. Now, normally you would type in your address of where you want to go and it would route it like Google Maps, right? But now with this, you can literally draw a line from where you are to where you want to go, and it would automatically route it for you. And then you could go into like a 3D map view. So if you're like climbing a peak, for example, like a hill or a mountain or something, your routed map would stick to the 3D model, so you can still see where you need to go and which way you need to go in a 3D environment. I hope that makes sense. Okay. You kind of have to see it.
Yeah, I understand. They basically slapped off a topographic map and I presume satellite imagery and stuff like that and show you in a three-dimensional way, right?
Yeah, like it knows elevation and it understands where you need to be in relation to like peaks and stuff in the actual real environment. It's really, really cool technology. So yeah, that's all I saw of Windows Ink before we had to start filming this episode. So there might be more to it than that, but from what I saw, I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. Okay, and then moving on from that, we had Nadella on stage, and this was like their little megaton, right? Actually, before I talk about this, I just want to mention something. Phil Spencer has pretty much confirmed that Halo 5 is not coming to the Windows platform, right? Now, I was watching a video on YouTube before we started recording this episode, and I don't know who it was. It was either IGN or GameSpot or something, where one of the presenters was Meg Turney. Most people should know who Meg Turney is. And they were basically slating Microsoft for this, saying, oh, Microsoft said that they're supporting the PC platform, but they're not bringing Halo to PC. Oh, nice U-turn, Microsoft. You're not supporting the PC gamers. Blah, blah, blah. How can you say you're supporting us when you're not giving us Halo? And I was thinking, fuck you. I'm sorry for using this language, but seriously, do you expect them to bring all of the exclusives onto the PC? I mean, they've already got Gears of War, PC, Quantum Break, PC, Rise of the Tomb Raider, PC, Forza.
Sorry, guys, you're going to have a reason to buy a console that's still a console.
I know!
And that's why PC gamers have never got to finish the fight. For those of you who understand that Halo reference.
Yeah, and God, and they were bitching and bitching and bitching. I mean, the video was like 8 minutes long or something, and for the whole video, oh, Microsoft, how can you do this? Oh, you're not committed to PC gaming. And I was thinking, what? On what planet are you people on? Do you not understand that they need to keep some things exclusive to the Xbox platform?
It's the internet, dude. You know you're gonna hear that.
No,
Why are
yeah,
you
no,
surprised?
the internet is one thing, but having people in a professional sort of role that present news to the general consumer, they should know better and they should present it in an unbiased, unstupid way. And it really just, it grinds my
Oh,
gears. It really
Gerg.
does. Seriously, these people are. And I've noticed another thing, and there's no point even saying it because I'll just get
Deep
bitched at for it.
breaths.
But these people just don't understand. It just really pisses me off. But yeah, so yeah, Halo 5's not coming to PC. Freaking deal with it. Jesus. Okay.
Well,
But you got Killer Instinct Season 3 on PC now.
yep. And your saves also transfer over. All
Yep.
that data and all that all those fight data and all that stuff, they sync all the same between platforms, which is really cool. I just updated my Killer Instinct, and that was the one thing that it did. I guess it had to sync between my two accounts, and it cloud saved everything properly, and it converted its save file, and now it's all ready to go on the Windows platform.
Nice. Okay, they showed something else, which I thought was really, really cool, and I'll try to dig it up right now. Where they talked about Universal Windows apps, and I want to talk about this before we move on to bots, because bots was the big news. Okay, Universal Windows apps. Basically, what you could do is you could get a game that you've downloaded over Steam, and you could convert it into a modern Universal Windows app, and that included Win32 games. So
That's awesome.
yeah. So what he showed on stage was he had Age of Empires 2, which was downloaded on Steam, and he converted it into a Universal Windows app, and then you could launch it as a modern application on Windows 10. And
See, this is where mouse and keyboard can come in handy because think about RTS games on console.
mm-hmm.
You could literally just bypass the whole controller thing and have a actual and MOBAs too. You could have the mouse and keyboard MOBA games, all that other stuff. So you could, with those inputs, you could have such a huge variety on the console.
Hey, look, this is what it says. It says the gaming portion of the keynote started out with an announcement that Forza is going to be created as a universal app going forward. So the same one will work on Xbox and Windows PC. Quantum Break and Killer Instinct will also come to Windows 10. And that desktop app converter that we mentioned earlier, it will also work on classic Windows 32 based games. Phil Spencer showed that Microsoft could just download Age of Empires 2 HD from Steam and convert it to a universal app, and it even worked on The Witcher 3, which means that all the Windows 10 features like live tiles and notifications will work with these games.
Whoa.
That's big news.
It is, but here's the question. Are these considered dev tools or consumer tools?
No, this is just a Windows feature.
Yeah, so a consumer could literally go in and take their Steam library and shove on a game onto that, right?
Well, it's like you download a game over Steam and then convert it into a Windows app.
Yeah, but that's available to the consumer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's a bit, I don't know. This starts getting to a gray area because isn't that like hacking and modding a program? And how are developers and everything gonna like this?
I don't know. I don't know how it works or why it works or what the implications are. All I know is that it sounds good.
It does. I don't know. It's good. As long as you can do it, that sounds freaking awesome because that opens up a huge variety of stuff.
Yeah, that looked really, really cool. Jesus. Okay. Now this was the big news of the conference. Bots. 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 Nadella talked a lot about bots, and I didn't actually get to this section of the conference when I was watching it a little while ago, but I really want to go back and watch it. So if I find anything new, I'll talk about it in the next episode. But from what I know right now, this is awesome. So what they're doing is they're introducing bots into Skype, for example. So me and Nexus, right now we're talking over Skype because he lives really far away in the US and I'm in the UK. So now, let's say, for example, I was planning a trip to where Nexus lives, right? What we could do is we could we could have Cortana knowing what we're talking about, and then she could be a broker between our conversation and a hotel in the US, right? And then on request, she could invite, let's just say the Hilton Hotel, right? She could invite a representative from the Hilton Hotel into our conversation, but that representative would be a bot, but it would talk to us, right? So then I can.
So it's basically a digital agent, a corporate agent for these services.
Yeah. So and it's all done in real time, right? So we could talk to this bot and make a reservation in a hotel without leaving the conversation. On top of that, if I was to make plans on a calendar saying I'm going to the US, this is where I need to go, then Cortana can talk to the bots herself, right? So Cortana can know your schedule, and then based on what you want her to do, she can go off into the wild, talk to bots from a hotel, and make a reservation for you by having a conversation with them on your behalf. I'll take
awesome.
Take your silence for those 3 seconds to be your brain just melting, thinking, "Oh my god, this is so awesome! That is so damn cool." And so Nadella thinks that bots in general are like the future to everything. And after seeing what they're trying to do with bots, I'm going to have to agree with them. It just looks really cool. I mean, they even had a demo on stage of Skype with the bots. So I might as well just read it out.
Seem very, very excited. Are you sure you're not just, prepping for, the takeover of Skynet and, being one of the chosen select few overseers for our robot masters?
That'd be good. I'd be okay with that.
Okay, man.
So I might as well just read this out because I'm not going to be able to explain it any better than what's written here. So, really quickly, it says, Microsoft keeps pushing Skype and now it's making it a lot smarter. Basically, Skype will be able to talk to Cortana, which brokers a conversation with a third-party bot. Cortana is smarter than the bot. She understands context, but the bot is what does things like book a hotel room. So, during a Skype demo, a bot from Cups and Cakes asked for an address to complete a delivery. Cortana brokered the conversation and gave the user a map with updates on arrival time. When asked to add an appointment to a calendar, Cortana automatically engaged with the bot from the Western Hotel, filling in location and date, and allowed the user to book the hotel room within a few clicks. Finally, she suggested chatting with a friend who lived in the same area and produced an automatic message in the mode of Google's smart inbox replies. All this intelligence can even work in real time inside a video chat. Skype users can just add video bots to their chat. We're not totally sure what this means, but it sounds wild.
Cool.
It just sounds... It's like, what's that movie? Not Minority Report. Not iRobot, but I don't know. It's like a mix between The Matrix, Skynet, and all sorts of things in like a mishmash of awesomeness. It just sounds really good. It sounds really cool.
So out of the two exciting things that you could have listed, you didn't list a utopian society movie. You listed Skynet and The Matrix. Okay, so all right. Well, bow our robot masters. I'm kind of I'm good on that one. All right. Well, hopefully that our bot masters will eventually evolve and serve us wisely to where they imprison us so we don't have to do anything. What's the next topic?
I don't know if you have any more topics. I mean, I've covered everything that I've written down. There's definitely more to. Windows now supports something to do with Linux.
Linux.
Yeah, I call it Linux, whatever. I just read it Okay, the Linux command line comes to Windows. The bash shell is coming to Windows. Even if that sentence is gibberish to you, it's still meaningful. Windows supporting Linux native Ubuntu binaries can now run on Windows.
No,
Wow.
Ubuntu is a
Yeah, I've
great
used that
operating
before.
system. Yeah.
Bash
Hopefully we can get
stands
some Red
for
Hat.
born against shell, and it means that developers can fire up a terminal window and code the way that many of them are used to with Linux commands. Yes, it sounds very nerdy, but it's a super big deal. Developers used to have to use third-party tools to do it. Now it's going to be built into Windows. Ooh.
Well, what they're doing is allowing that their operating system and environments to be very user friendly and developer happy, I guess. So that's what they've really been pushing over the past 5 years.
Mhm.
So that's awesome.
Oh man, this looks so cool. I mean, there's more HoloLens stuff. There's more gaming across Windows and Xbox devices. There's so much to talk about here, and honestly, I just don't know what else to say. Um, the Build Developer Conference looked like it was a blast, and they announced so much cool stuff. And yeah, I really think they're going places.
Awesome.
Yeah, especially with that last conference that I talked about. Remember where they announced the Surface Book, um, and the new Surface Tab and the Windows Phone, and how you can have like a Windows 10 environment running off your phone. It everything
Yeah,
that
that did
Microsoft
sound pretty
is
cool.
Yeah, everything that Microsoft is doing right now, it just seems so damn cool. It's like a different company right now.
Yeah, because they've been trying to implement this for the past like what, well, 10 or 12 years, and it's
Yeah.
finally culminating. I mean, you could see what they were trying to do a long time ago with their unified environments, but now it's finally coming into its own on what they've been trying to push. So you don't have all these separate devices and offshoots anymore. You're finally getting that unified experience.
hmm
So,
It just looks really really good. Um, yeah, and the amount they're investing into Cortana and artificial intelligence in general, I think it's going to go a long way because it certainly looks like that's the kind of way we're going as a species. Not only do we have machines helping us in the physical environment, it only makes sense to have these machines helping us in a virtual environment. And I
mhm.
think it's the right way to go.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, I can't really argue with it. But yeah, I've kind of run out of topics. So unless you
Right,
have
well,
something else to say, I think we're done with this episode.
um, I think we were discussing about, for those of you who've been hearing us, about giving updates on backwards compatibility and stuff like that. Me and DK are thinking of doing um, a backwards compatibility on Xbox One 101. All the little ins and outs and details on what you can and can't do and how to fully use the backwards compatibility options on your Xbox One. It's a lot more in depth than you think.
Yeah, and I wasn't aware of all of this until Nexus filled me in the other day, and there is a lot more to it than I first thought. So yeah, I think Nexus, you're going to be doing the talking on that one.
So we'll be working on that and giving you guys a nice, hopefully, just short but sweet guide on how to fully enjoy the backwards compatibility option. That's all I got to say, though.
Yep. Quick thing, just an update on DK Nexus discussions in general. As of today, it's cancelled. I'm joking. No. A couple of episodes ago, I mentioned that we are looking to get this podcast as an actual podcast on iTunes and other popular podcasting apps. Tomorrow, in fact, I'm actually working on that. I'm getting some help. I've got the hosting sorted out. I need to convert all of these videos into audio only. I need to design like a logo and a thumbnail for podcasting apps and all of that sort of thing. So I'm going to make hopefully big strides in that tomorrow. So fingers crossed within the next week or two, we will also be available on iTunes and other popular apps out there. So yeah, keep your eyes open and we'll announce it in whichever episode in the near future. So yeah, hopefully this will go somewhere.
Awesome. You guys around.
Okay, that's pretty much it for episode 8. We've been talking about the Build Developers Conference 2016 from Microsoft, all things Xbox, all things bots, and all things in between. I've been DK6 and my co-host Nexus of Vice. Thanks for listening. Drop us a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching, guys, or listening if you're on the podcast now. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Peace.
Stop. Okay, bye.
Peace.
Bye.